Hi and welcome to Knit with Hannah. Today we're going to talk about how you can knit faster. Hi, welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. I'm here with Knitting Natter to help you learn to knit the easy way. We are getting to grips with knitting faster today. Is this really possible? If you've been knitting for a while, you think you've got into a rhythm, but maybe you're thinking, can I actually do this faster? It's taken me so long to get through a project. I just want to finish it. Let's find a way to make this easier so that maybe you can knit faster with just a few tips. Just so that you know, I'm not going to sit here and knit and show you all of these amazing things that you can do, because we all knit in different ways. And there is a video you can go and watch. Once you've watched this, then I do suggest you go and follow another one of my videos, and that is knitting styles. That's going to show you how different people knit in many different ways, and just understanding that video as well as what I'm going to tell you here will really help you just speed up your knitting if that's what you're looking for. The first question I want you to ask yourself is, why do I want to knit faster in the first place? So actually, do you want to knit faster for a practical reason? Maybe you're selling what you're knitting and it's taking you too long to knit every item. And therefore, it means that you're charging people too much and they're getting a bit frustrated. And it also means that you're not selling enough stuff because you're not knitting enough stuff. The second reason might be that you're getting bored of projects. You started knitting something, you think that you're doing all right, you're knitting every day, maybe you're knitting 3 times a week, but it's just not happening. You're not getting very far. Well, maybe you're sitting there, you're not really focusing on it. Are you trying to watch television at the same time? Are you commuting on a train and you're trying to knit and there's too much distraction around you? If you're just not quite focusing on it enough, it could be that you're making mistakes and having to rewind, having to unravel it and say, this is just getting me nowhere, because as soon as I take 2 steps forward, I'm taking 1 step back. That might be an issue. Just think about the different ways and the different places that you knit. That can be a big difference. It can make a massive difference in how fast you actually knit an item. If you don't make so many mistakes, then you're going to obviously finish it faster. The third thing might be that you're just comparing yourself too much with all the knitters around you. Is that a problem? Be honest with yourself. You may say, actually, I want this knitted by a certain time. You just wish you could knit it faster because everyone else seems to be knitting faster as well. Well, it doesn't matter. Maybe you just knit at a certain pace and you're knitting comfortably and easily. There's no rush. Just accept that, the knitter that you are. And know that over time, the rhythm will just speed up and speed up and speed up without you really noticing it. Over time, it will become easier. So that's just the first thing. Let's talk about more practical ways that you can knit faster. Don't worry about it, we are going to get you going. So the practical way is to take it slowly. Okay, that's completely wrong. I want you to get faster, but take it slowly. If you take all of the examples in the knitting styles video, you change the way you maybe hold the needles, the way you hold the yarn, then you could start knitting faster. But if you're knitting faster, you're using your muscles more. You're using your muscles in a different way. And that means that they could end up really getting tense, hurting and aching. So you may actually need to knit for less time and then slowly build it up. Take it slowly. You're knitting in a different way if you're managing to knit faster. So just give yourself a break. Make sure that it's happening regularly, that you're knitting in a routine, that you're not stopping knitting for 5 days and then picking it up again. You need to knit with this new technique over time on a regular basis, and then you can knit for longer each time and you will definitely start knitting faster. Don't worry about it, it will work. The Problem is that if you're not patient with it, you could end up stopping to knit altogether. You may end up with tennis elbow or a crick in your neck. Your fingers could end up aching too much. Make sure you do set in place the patience, the schedule, the routine of knitting, and don't try and push yourself too much when you start knitting faster. Here we go then. What's the first major tip I've got for you? You want to reduce the movements as you knit. And that means if you're knitting, you are putting the yarn into the stitch. Maybe then you're picking up the yarn and moving around the end of the needle. You're putting the yarn down again, and then you're moving the needle again. Reducing the movements will mean that you don't have to do all of that. You are holding the yarn all at once. You're holding the needles at the same time, and you're not having to think about 5 different things. You're actually thinking about a fluid, rhythmic motion. It just happens. You will see it happening before your eyes, and as you practice, that rhythm, that fluid motion will speed up over time. Over time, if you give it patience. That is the main point. Reduce the movements and automatically it will speed up your knitting. Sit down when you've got peace and quiet. Maybe when everyone else is out of the house, when there's no buzzing around you, the washing machine isn't on, humming in the background, you're not trying to catch up with the latest episode of The Crown on Netflix. Just sit down by yourself in the peace and quiet and watch yourself knitting. Think of this as you're actually watching someone else knitting. It's your hand and it's your knitting, but just observe how it works. What are you doing? Are you picking up the yarn at the same time as the needles, or do you drop the needle at some point during each stitch? Are you finding yourself after every 3 stitches moving the stitches around on the needles because they're all getting bunched up and too tense? Are you knitting really close to the tips so that the needles can't really hold the stitches because they're too tight? Could be that simple. You'll notice the different things that you can start doing to make the difference. When you're knitting, you're usually focusing on the stitches, not the hands. So this time, let's just focus on the hands. What are your hands doing and how are they making the stitches? How are they holding the yarn? How are they holding the needles? So I will say again, go and watch the Knitting Styles video because this is going to make a difference. It's not about how I knit faster, it's about how you knit faster. You knitting faster will make the difference to you. If I teach you how I knit faster, it could not work for your fingers. It may not work for your wrists. It may not work for the way that your brain works. And it may not work to give you the right tension. So you need to focus on your knitting, not my knitting, not anyone else's knitting style. Find out what works for you. Right, I hope you've found this video helpful. Go and watch the Knitting Styles video to see if there are any tips in there that can really help you get going knitting faster. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you again soon, I hope. Bye for now. Happy knitting.